From 8, we now have 2. Maybe not the 2 some had expected here in IWC's crowd, but those that follow independent wrestling as a whole, likely not surprised by the outcome thus far.
Once again, absolutely stoic. No show of emotion, no sign that he is happy to be in this. Just walking to the ring, ready to do the task that is in front of him.
Alexander defeated former Super Indy champion Johnny Gargano, BJ Whitmer, Billy Gunn, former Super Indy champion Colt Cabana, former Super Indy finalists Alex Daniels and Ray Rowe to win the JT Lightning Invitational Tournament. A very, very skilled arsenal of diverse talent Alexander plowed his way through. Could he repeat that tonight? Jonathan Gresham overcame Leo Rush, Joey Janela, Ricky Shane Page, and finally David Starr to win the CZW Best of the Best. Still 3 rounds, not as many entrants, but just as much pain to get there. Can he repeat himself?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we have all been waiting for, live from the Portage Sports Center here in Elizabeth, PA. It is time to get loud in here. Everybody right now, on your feet, get on your feet. This is the main event of the evening, and it is the tournament final of Super Indy 15. Introducing first from man in charge of the Belltown referee, Bobby Williams. Now, in the corner to my left, from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing at 165 pounds, he is the recent winner of Combat Zone Wrestling's Best of the Best tournament, and he is recognized as the best technical wrestler in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jonathan Gresham! His opponent, in the corner to my right, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, weighing at 230 pounds, he is the recent winner of AIW's JT Lightning Invitational Tournament. He is the walking weapon! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Josh Alexander!
As both men see the prize, with a decade and a half behind it, that all started with Super Hentai defeating Christopher Daniels one March evening at the Monroeville Sports Center. Through the pomp and circumstance, both men have remained stoic and determined. Both men have been through hell tonight.
And here we go.
From Xavier and De Niro to Dunkerton and Palace, do you give either man an edge on the road they've traveled tonight?
No, honestly. I will state I am impressed by the fact that the bell rang and neither man moved.
That's respect.
They are trying to figure out just how this is going to work. You see Alexander already starting with a small head game. Squeezing the hand of Jonathan Gresham. A little harder than a standard handshake.
No headline news here that the power and leverage goes to Alexander in every sense of the word. Gresham needs to keep this matchup open, needs to keep it quick. But also, does that become counterproductive when you look at the octopus stretch that he's utilized? Will he be able to have the power and leverage to keep Alexander trapped in that hold that is thus far been able to silence both prior opponents.
Well, I want to point out that Alexander went for a Greco-Roman knuckle lock, as it's known. And you would assume Gresham would not want to be in that, but he quickly reversed it and turned it into an inverted hand lock, which serves him well for injuring that arm and looking for that octopus.
Throughout IWC history, you can look at men like Chris Sabin, Delirious, Jerry Lynn, several others, who before winning Super Indy, they were not a regular part of this roster. They were not someone you would see frequently on IWC events. However, a win in Super Indy puts them in that stratosphere, elevates their career, gives them dominance in a new territory in the country, and certainly guarantees many future appearances. We are guaranteed a new champion. We are guaranteed that champion will be outside of IWC's roster. And I don't believe that's happened since Sami Callihan 4 years prior. Sami Callihan, he endorsed Desmond Xavier as the winner. Desmond went out in the first round. That shows you how deep and competitive the field was. So many experts with so many different predictions.
Yes, understandable why he would back him, being that he helped train him. But and Gresham, once again, catching an arm and going and starting to look to find a way to hurt it.
And a Sami Callihan and many other individuals across this industry know the toughness and tenacity of Alexander and Gresham. And I wish I knew this would be how the final would play out, and I had time to prepare with notes to find out if these men had ever met before. Because this is a very intriguing one-on-one contest to me. Alexander doesn't just slip up underneath. You can see the elevation he gets when he heads back to the standing position.
And you notice not going out after him, letting him come back in.
And what do you think's going through Josh's mind as he makes that decision? Is it respect to Gresham? Is it not wanting to make a mistake?
I think it's part of the game plan. He's out. Let's see how long it takes for him to get back in. It's a barometer to see just where the gas tank is, so to speak. Does he run back in? Does he slowly come in? Does he try and come in House of Fire?
A couple of takeovers by Gresham. Alexander quick to counter into the scissors and back to the base. Gresham tried a third time. Alexander puts the brakes on and uses that overwhelming power. Gresham took it to the mat. He had a moment of success, but Alexander just explodes with that unmitigated strength.
Like I said, it's almost like a surgeon dissecting. He looks, he finds where he can do the damage, and he figures out the maximum amount of damage he can do while in, so to speak.
How do you negotiate this if you're Gresham?
You keep away from him. You know that your advantage is speed, and you know that the more you move around, the more you're going to take out of his tank rather than yours.
And that would be, in your opinion, when Gresham can zero in on the arm and perhaps set up an octopus stretch.
Oh, I would say, I don't even know if you get to zero in so much as you pay attention to it and you look for your opportunities. You can't aim Alexander knows what he's doing. He knows that Gresham is going to be looking for that arm and that lock. He's used it well tonight, let alone the rest of his career. So he's going to be looking to protect that. So he has to pay attention and make sure that that's not where the offense is going, like here.
And Gresham trying to focus on that arm, but Alexander takes Gresham down with one shot, and taking Gresham down is no easy task.
Gresham has to look for that opportunity when the arm isn't being defended. He can't focus on it, he just has to catch it.
And the overwhelming theme I'm sensing in this building live is just a ton of respect for both these men. Oh, Gresham takes out the knee. He neutralizes the power there.
And there was a shot to the arm.
Oh, Gresham found an opening and a cross-body. Both men hit awkwardly. And I think Josh got the worst of it. Here comes Gresham. Oh, God, look out. Alexander's body bends across the steel and then over the top of the guardrail.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes gone by.
Alexander was pushed backwards, and then that sudden jolt, that sudden stop when they hit steel.
And it looked like the guardrail, I don't know, separated. Maybe it was there at the base.
And now Gresham can sense he has an opening, can sense he has Alexander reeling, and obviously is thinking a very high risk. All or nothing, perhaps early. It's a potential mistake. Will it pay off? Oh, Gresham nearly lost his balance. Plancha connects!
Flying into the crowd. And I don't know if you can see from here, but Alexander is clutching that leg.
Yeah.
We know he had tweaked his knee or done something to his knee upon hitting that sunset driver.
That's an excellent point. Back in the second round with De Niro. And it looked like Josh was trying to walk it off, and Gresham detected that and went out in pursuit.
And now Gresham just littering his path with chairs, trying to slow up Gresham.
And been a long time since I've seen a Super 80 final quite like this.
And I can't see what's happening from here.
Well, Sorgatron Media, IndyWrestling.us, getting you in on the action as there is a sea of fans parting for these two ruthless athletes. Oh, and I believe that was Gresham targeting the knee of Alexander, perhaps with one of those ringside chairs.
I was gonna say, I heard a thwack, a thud. Or a thwack or a thud, I'm not sure.
And now you just hear those blood-curdling screams.
And the ref giving some leeway on this, not even doing a count.
Look at this.
Oh,
Gresham sent into the steel.
head first.
Gresham tried to negotiate Alexander into the steel, but again, more body weight. Alexander was able to adjust. And Gresham done a great job of taking Alexander out of this game and negating that power advantage.
Oh!
But Alexander to his feet.
There's another one of those solid chops. Oh!
Alexander at least able to control the body weight enough on that knee to get Gresham down on top of the guardrail.
I was gonna say, he seems like he's moving okay now, but you notice he went over the guardrail kind of gingerly.
Yeah.
And he's still shaking it out there, holding himself up on the apron.
I saw Alexander focus on the ankle area of Gresham a moment ago. Interesting to note that when Gresham came off the top with that cross body, it seemed that the ankles or the feet of Gresham connected with that guardrail.
Look out!
Oh, great midstream adjustment. And again, so fluid and Alexander
caught him!
Oh no! Oh, tombstone!
On the floor! Twisting tombstone!
Forget about it.
Oh, and his knee.
Again, even with the knee pad, there was not enough protection.
I had mentioned when he first came in, no emotion. He wasn't tipping his hand at all. Well, now you can see his knees hurt.
Yeah. And Josh has done a great job of shrugging it off thus far as best he can. But that all or nothing type risk, you know what? Gresham may be counted out here. It could pay off. But if Gresham gets back in the ring, long term that may have been a mistake.
I mean, he did the damage.
Counts at 8. A count at 8. We got 2 seconds. 1 second left. Will Gresham get back in? Gresham is back in.
He just limply threw his body under that bottom rope.
What an
10
insane,
minutes gone by, 10 minutes gone by.
what an insane effort from both these men, not just in this matchup, but all night long. It's the ultimate test. Who will push their body beyond their normal limits?
And now Alexander, an elbow to the back of the head and then a clubbing forearm. And he can't stay up.
And just trying to psych himself up mostly here. Again, you can't get your footing. That throws off your striking game. You can't balance your opponent's weight. Your power game is off. Gresham's done a great wait. Oh, wait a second.
Again.
Tombstone.
No.
Oh, no, counter. Again, the weight positioning. Gresham counters. And focusing on the leg. Figure 4. Yeah, got him. The huge legs of Alexander. Oh, but couldn't cinch in entirely.
Alexander caught the foot. And now twisting the ankle.
And Gresham, just like that, finds himself on the defensive. But will Gresham tap out after all this way he's come? Not even in the tournament. A substitution, an alternate. Now could find himself as champion.
And now bending that leg back and over while twisting the ankle.
And Gresham to the rope just barely. Alexander throws up an elbow pad in frustration. As again, the fatigue setting in deeply as both men are frustrated, but neither man is willing to give in.
All the pain that they've gone through to get here, I imagine now they're starting to feel every ounce of it.
Without question, adrenaline can only take you so far. There's only a matter of time before the body starts to give. Oh, look at this! Oh, twisted DDT! Beautifully done. Alexander. Can he get him? Struggled with the knee. Gresham rolls through. Sunset flip. No, can't get him.
I'll point out Alexander taken down with that DDT instinctually got back up to his feet.
Appreciation from the court time faithful, but it will only be an awesome night for one of these men. 450 right to the small of the back. He opts not to cover. Mental note made. Could that come back to haunt Gresham?
Knees up.
Alexander was ready. Gresham tried once too often. The Finley roll. And Gresham out on his feet. Pump handle. Oh! Right in the back of the neck. Done. No! And Alexander is in shock. And perhaps somewhere deep inside him, so is Gresham. But you test your body, you push it beyond its limits. You have to dig down somewhere you wouldn't normally go.
The question Alexander has is now twofold. A, what's it gonna take? And B, how much more can my knee take? Every time he lifts him, every time he drops down and has to get back up, it's applying a little more stress to that knee that we know is hurt. We don't know how badly, but we know is hurt.
Josh measuring Gresham, who's out on his feet. Josh is not much better. And we've seen this before. Always visually amazing, always potentially match-ending. Gresham knows it as well. Could be do or die here for Jonathan Gresham.
And elbows to the head. Into the crook of the neck. Oh, he's up.
Keep in mind, Gresham used strikes like that to knock out Andrew Palace. Oh my God, this is so precarious. Hold your breath. Hurricane from the very top. What an effort here. But Alexander comes back. Alexander rolling with the punches.
Oh!
Alexander planted on his head. Got him.
Oh! Every time Alexander gets dropped, he pops right back up. He has a counter.
What a fight. And Gresham perhaps wondering what's next, or maybe what's left. Alexander much the same. And this crowd is almost in stunned silence, watching in awe. They're hanging on every motion, every movement. But not your typical vocal wrestling crowd here in suburban Pittsburgh.
Gresham it looked like he was trying to land some knees, get some strikes in. I don't know how effective they are on Alexander at this point.
I think Alexander thrives off of that type of thing. That could have been a mistake.
Bell clap.
Oh! Alexander to the jaw. Gresham comes back. Alexander is hurt. And Alexander could be the recipient. Shooting star! That'll do it! Go! Are you kidding me?
That was a textbook shooting star. I will point out, Alexander not popping up to his feet.
Yeah, there's been a lot of adrenaline, a lot of fighting spirit, and a lot of I'll shake away the pain and worry about it tomorrow in this tournament, in this match. Josh, physically incapable of doing it anymore. And the sacrifices of so many Super Indy competitors before them, living and breathing on in these men. Alexander said in his pre-match comments, his pre-tournament comments on .com, oh wait, octopus stretch. Octopus stretch. Alexander, a lot of sweat in that ring as they try to counter out. Tombstone again. No. The octopus stretch.
And now forearms and elbows to the head.
If he can get the full extension on that arm, but he could never get that arm. Tombstone. Alexander on top. Alexander wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Super Indy 16 and new Super Indy champion, the Woman Weapon, Josh Alexander!
Josh had mentioned on IndyWrestling.us that when he was growing up, when he was first entering this industry, he'd watch AJ Styles, he'd watch CM Punk, he'd watch Chris Sabin in Super Indy tournaments of yesteryear. And one day dream. Josh Alexander in 2016 finds himself on the precipice of superstardom, much as they did in their Super Indy title wins. And Josh Alexander adds himself to one of the most prolific and star-studded title lineages in anywhere in independent professional wrestling. And Jay Worthy earned every ounce of it.
He walked into this tournament. He didn't clap. He didn't engage the crowd. He walked in and he got the job done.
He lived up to his namesake. The walking weapon was in full force. And there you see the competitive spirit and mutual respect that helped personify Super Indy as an ultimate test.
For the winner of Super Indy 16, Josh Alexander!
A test of honor, a test of heart, a test of merit. A test of those who can push their body beyond their limits and come out better than maybe even they thought they'd be. Josh Alexander is the man, the Super Indy champion. As we celebrate a decade and a half of history, Josh Alexander takes Super Indy to the future.